Yeah, I mean, my background, I mean, I grew up with business. You kind of touched on it. I come from a business family. I grew up with a family that's been in salmon since, well, a long time back, probably 100
Since
years back.
salmon were invented.
It's one of the more the older families when it comes to that industry. So I grew up with business, shipping, real estate, fish farms. That's the background they had. I started my first company when I was 17, which was a customer support company for the gaming industry. And then I sold that when I was 18. And then I had a period where I did something else. And then after that, did some work with EA, built the social media pages in the Nordics from 50,000 people to about 15 million. And then after that, before that, worked with Funcom on Age of Conan, where I was a community liaison for about 1 million people, 1 million players in that game. And then realized later on that tech pays better than gaming and gaming doesn't pay as much. So moved into tech companies and started working with business. So sales, business to business first, then corporate, then mergers and acquisitions, and then sales director, and then sales executive, and basically as a 99% of the time as a consultant out to tech companies, just because that way I can tax-wise do better. And then after that in 2017, end of 2017, we founded Wasder together with the chairman of the board, who is obviously also on the pitch deck. His name is Johan. He's an amazing human. So he's the founder for Enter Interactive, who obviously did My Neighbor Alice on Binance. He is, as far as I know, he's been involved in 25, 30 companies on the board, sits on the Nobel Sustainability Committee. He has listed 6 or 7 companies on NASDAQ in the Nordics. He's an amazing active chairman, and just an incredible human. And then obviously the rest of the team, I mean, they're all in the deck, but we have the best team I've ever seen. The COO, Mats, was one of the managers in Reebok, the guy who did the deal between Reebok and CrossFit. And then he did the deal between Reebok and UFC. And obviously these are two brand defining multiple billion dollar deals that was absolutely incredible. Anna, our CPO, but the great thing about Mats is he is the person who just runs the organization. He's the person who's involved in everything, but on a good way. He's that support, that backbone for everyone, which is absolutely amazing from my end, because it allows me to focus on the external stuff and the vision and the product and the people that I wanted to interact with, and investors, obviously. So he perfectly kind of fits what I do. Anna, the CPO, I mean, she was the lead producer for Candy Crush.
For who, sorry?
For Candy Crush, yeah.
Never heard of it, mate. Never heard of it.
You haven't? No,
No, never heard of it.
I mean, it's arguably the most successful mobile game of all time. And she's so incredibly brilliant. One of the smartest people I've ever met. Her potential is, I mean, she's young, but her potential is just unlimited. She can go anywhere. Yeah. Honestly. The CMO, Sami, obviously legend. Top 10 list in Forbes of the most influential people in crypto, or the people who are watching crypto this year. He built the Growth 500, or a growth agency in the United States, on the Inc. 500 list. Did a massive exit from that. Since then, he has done multiple other exits. He came in as a board member, actually as an investor. So he got introduced and we were supposed to have a 10-minute call. That became a 3-hour meeting. He canceled all of his meetings.
And that became 4 years. 4 years on the board later.
Yeah, I mean, then he joined the board, and then eventually I asked him to come out of retirement and stop being an investor and just a board member in things, and work full-time, 17-hour days again, which he did. He's awesome. The CTO, obviously CTO for Leo Vegas, one of the biggest, most successful gambling companies in Europe. Multiple billion-dollar unicorn. He joined when there were 6 people, and he left when there were 900 and something people. He is a tech visionary. Again, same thing. Did his exit, became an investor, board member. We met him. I obviously wanted him to invest. Now he's our CTO, working full time again, and he does that because he sees he can build another unicorn. Marcus, the creative director, dude. Honestly, yeah, Marcus is a genius. He wrote the social media strategy for Spotify. He did so many of the most viral campaigns you've ever seen from the big brands out there. All the Reebok stuff. Did you ever see the Reebok campaign where they did if you get the tattoo, you got the tattoo for free and you got a bunch of stuff?
Yeah, I actually looked that up after we spoke the last time. The thing is about talking with you guys, man, is I'm used to talking to people in crypto, but yeah, it's like you say, the key word here is unicorn, isn't it? There's not many people that I can speak to in this space that can flutter the names of Reebok, Spotify, blah, that game that what was it, Candy? Yeah, whatever that game was. So yeah, am I right in saying that a lot of the people in your C-suite, they're very, very accomplished and they probably don't need to work anymore? If I was to hazard a guess, they don't need to be here.
No, nobody does. I think. Well, Anna, obviously being young, and having been an employee at King, she obviously needs to, up until now. But no, the rest of us, no.
Yeah.
But we all work 15, 16, 17-hour days, and we will continue to do so for the next several years.
And the question there would be why?
So our vision, and I can go through the rest of the team after, but I mean, our vision is to really cause positive change in people's lives through gaming. We believe that gaming has the capability of changing not only an industry that is massive and arguably one of, if not the most innovative industry on the planet, but we can change people's lives through that industry. Because right now, gaming is becoming a part of everything we do. It's part of our education. It's part of how we express ourselves. It's part of how we tell stories. So the new generation that's coming up after us, the ones that are not me, they use this, that it's just a part of their lifestyle and it's a part of their culture, which means that if you manage to create something truly true, like a force for good, the way that Microsoft did, the way that Apple did, the way that Tesla did, the way that these companies have throughout history been able to do, you can do the same here. Web3 has the potential to being one of the most, if not the most powerful game changer in people's lives in so many ways. And utilizing what we do to become that force for adoption, that driver for that new generation of embracing that, is incredibly powerful. We want to create a social media that's safer for women. We all know right now social media is a cesspool. We want to create a safer, more fun, more enjoyable, more positive social environment. We want to allow more people around the world to tell their story, to express themselves through gaming, to have that, to experience the social connections and the networks and the social relationships that gamers known for 20 years now exist, and that you can only build through finding people who share mutual interests with you, and in being exposed to new stories and being exposed to new ways of entertaining yourself. And we see that we can do that. We can become that, and we can also, because of what blockchain does and because of the models that are being built here, you can also create something that not only does that, but actually create hundreds of thousands of people getting paid. And I think in a sustainable way, right? Not without throwing certain game models under the bus. A lot of play to earn or type of like their business models just isn't sustainable. It's Ponzi schemes.
Yeah.
Because what they realistically rely on is that they always rely on new people coming in, putting money into the ecosystem, which then gets spread among the other people in the ecosystem. So you're always reliant on new people coming in. With the way that we're setting things up is it isn't that way. We are doing two different systems, which is one where you can get things that you then trade between people and sell, just like any collectible that's happened in gaming over the last 20 years. But also because we're social media, we haven't announced that yet, but we can use blockchain technology to let people truly own part of what they do, so that there are companies that put the money in through a service that they get what they want out of, and then we can distribute those profits directly to the people who actually generate it, which means that it's a sustainable effort because the money doesn't come from the consumers. The money comes from people who actually benefit from it.
Yeah.
And that's the great thing about this kind of a model, is that you give me something cool, I give you something. So no, this team does it because they can cost change and build one of the biggest lifestyle brands in the world, and on top of that, obviously,
I like the way you say that. I like the way you always refer back to lifestyle brand, and I like that so much more than gaming brand and social media, etc., because I share the vision.
It's part of our lifestyle, right? I mean, just look
agreed.
at so look at Florian, for example, who I think is absolutely unbelievably good. I mean, obviously you guys have the pitch deck since this is for an equity conversation, but if you look at what he does, I mean, he came in when we hired him. I told him, listen, I need you to make me an incentive system, and he gets hired. He starts, comes in 2 weeks later, and he's like, I'm not gonna build you an incentive system. We're like, okay. Hiring process, 2 weeks started, and you're not like, care to elaborate? And he's just like, hear me out. We're like, okay. So what a lot of companies do, obviously, a lot of products and blockchain and everything, they use these gamification systems, which is great. But the problem is you can't turn it full cycle into a game, because, for example, we can give you something cool for something you do.
Yeah.
But we can't use that to then make you use that in a different way to express yourself in order to then do more of the first thing, so that we can't create the full loop the way that a video game does, where you get a quest to go kill X amount of boars and then come back and get an item, and then you use that item to do something else, which in normal companies you can't do that. But because our audience are gamers, they all play games, they all play it as part of, again, their lifestyle, their culture, the way they express themselves, we can use that full cycle. Hence where the game of Wasder comes from, which is why it is such an insanely powerful mechanic. And when the difference that a lot of companies do, especially in blockchain, is they try to build a full product and then roll everything out at once. What we do is we build in slices, so that you always see that things are happening. So the first couple of slices are coming out. Most likely the first slice without the blockchain stuff comes out next week in the product.
Oof.
But then we're gonna start slicing things up, so that there's always something new, more improvements coming in, so it just becomes a part of how you use the product. And it's when the blockchain pieces are connected this end of the summer, I mean, it's awesome, absolutely extraordinarily awesome.
You can see me jumping around in my seat right now. I'm all excited.
and that's I mean, from an equity investment perspective, and that's the greatest thing, right? So the fact that we can build something that we truly can scale, not to like 2 million crypto guys, but to 100 million people who will then adopt Web3. I mean, you're not building, what kind of company would I think of? You're not building I'm trying to think of like some mid-sized company. You're not building a mid-sized, you're building Apple. Like that's realistically what you end up costing and doing. You're basically building what the new generation will see as the defining gaming culture change of a generation. And that's the fun part of what we do. And you know, my team is so good that I managed to get CEO of the year, which is insane. As I said last time, I'm like, I get to sit and drink wine while they do all the amazing things, and I get to look really good. But it's I couldn't be more privileged, honestly.
Yeah, man, very, very fortunate, but I'm sure you do your fair share of work as well. I spoke to a few of the team and they've nicknamed you the Vampire, as I'm sure you're already aware, on account of him just never going to sleep. All right, never going to sleep. It's not that he drinks blood and it's got nothing to do with a haircut. All right, it is what it is. He does work as much as he'll try and pull the wool over your eyes. I mean, Wasder, for me, I got in a little while ago after somebody pointed me in your direction. Being a crypto guy, never having really been involved in equity rounds before. And this is a gem to watch. If you guys are tuning into this and you haven't heard of what Wasder is or what Wasder's trying to do, it's not just another crypto project that they're, you know, there's later come out and said we're going to build a P2E game and that's going to sustain everything. Absolutely not. They are the future Apple. They are the future Facebook. They are the future Tinder for gamers, as it were. And the bonus of all of this is you get to get in at, I think the last time I checked was 13 million market cap, somewhere around there. So that comes in gem hunter territory for us. 100% non-financial advice, of course. Get into whatever projects you want, do your research, tune into the AMAs, etc., etc. But this should 100%, in my opinion, non-financial advice, be on your watch list.
Yeah, I mean it's fun. So obviously that's on the token side, which is amazing. On the equity round, the pre-money valuation is $21 million, but that's obviously because we have a lot of this blockchain in assets, right? Or not assets, but in products that we have available for the users and utility tokens for the users. So yeah, we're in a very good position from an equity perspective, I'd say. It's one of those, it's fun to be a part of the ride.
Yeah, for sure. And this is an opportunity for people to get in at a stage that, to be honest, they would probably not. Is that safe in assuming that they probably wouldn't have the opportunity to get in otherwise?
No. Yeah, no, I mean, there's this is the first equity round that we have ever, actually, this is the first time we ever consider letting someone in this way in equity. And the next round is a Series A. The Series A will be pure VCs almost, and more billionaires that we already have an incredibly good shareholding team.
Was that billionaire with a B? Sorry, continue.
I mean, we have one of the biggest, I mean, the cap table is fairly big actually, but we have Lee Kim Ta, which is one of the biggest family offices in Singapore. I mean, God knows how much assets they have. We have Rutger Hult and M2 Asset Management, who is one of the richest billionaires in the Nordics when it comes to real estate. We obviously have Alfred, who was in Apple, Alfred Mendel, who's one of our advisors and investors. I mean, he was one of the managers or directors in Apple from 1980 to 1990. So the guy who did the 1984 campaign for Apple is one of our advisors, one of my mentors. Obviously, he was an angel investor in Google. He was an angel investor in N8 Systems and NextBio and a bunch of these giant successes. And we have previous fund managers from Excel on the investor list. We have a lot of good guys that will make sure that when we do the A round,
there's no problem getting it filled. Let's put it that way.
No. So this is the moment where people can come in now at a very good position, and then be part of that ride. It's like investing in Apple when Apple was a $20 million company.
Sounds like a terrible investment to me. If it hasn't got a P2E game, I don't want to know. All right, and that's the end of that.
It's also a lot less volatile than any other things that currently the markets are doing, which is the good thing about it.
Yeah, so there's two ways to get involved in Wasder, essentially, for the TLDR. Is you buy the tokens, which is going to be the crypto side of it, or you can get involved with us. We're going to be running a little equity round whereby we'll be giving people a chance to get in with a smaller bag perhaps, and we'll give you like an NFT placeholder for your set percentage, etc., because a lot of these rounds aren't open to the likes of you and I. So yeah, it's a nice opportunity for everyone, and it's equity, so you actually own a piece of the pie, as opposed to, you know, a lot of companies you think you own a bit of the company when you buy a token, but a lot of the times these are just raises, etc. So yeah, definitely bringing something new to us. I don't want to get too much info off you at the minute about all of that. because I do want to have a little AMA at some point. But if we just finish up with a team, and I think that will do us. I think that will do us, because I'm sure a lot of people have got a lot of questions, mainly about. I don't think I know of any other crypto projects with billionaire investors. I'm just trying to think.
Mean, when it comes to the team, I mean, we mentioned the vast majority. I talked about Florian. We have the head of engineering, Javi, who's John's right hand. He was the CTO for Superblocks. They wrote basically tools for the Ethereum Foundation for other developers. We have Alfred, who I mentioned, who's an advisor, one of my closest mentors. We have Charlotte, who is one of our other investors and advisors, who is currently the CEO of Softronic on NASDAQ. And then we have designers, developers, brand managers, UA specialists. We have an awesome team. I mean, the developers, the designer. I mean, Stephanie Ross, our community manager, Ross, is arguably one of the coolest guys you'll ever meet. Product managers, Kidba. I mean, we have an extraordinary team. But we're 25 people full time, plus advisors, plus investors, plus everybody else that we have. So for someone like us to at this stage have that kind of a team is pretty extraordinary on its own. And then we need to hire the moment we close this round, we will basically hire another 15 people, and then we scale.
And then we scale. So what you're trying to tell me is no, sorry, you go.
No, I'm just saying, I mean, and we can do that in the equity part, but I mean, one of the other investors in the round is one of the biggest media conglomerates on the planet. So scaling is not going to be that hard.
Everything you say is with just sheer confidence, and I'm just trying to suss you out here. You're like the guy at the bar, and I'm like, is he telling the truth? Is he not? But everything's pointing to he's backing it up. He's backing it up, all right. He's calmly confident.
I mean, we did manage to get on, Fox, CNBC, or MSNBC, Business Insider, Business Worldwide now, Forbes. I mean, where haven't we been mentioned?
So small independent news agencies. Yeah. That's absolutely fantastic, man. I suppose the next logical question would be a real quick TLDR of Wasder, because I know we said it's going to be a lifestyle brand, it's going to be this, but for people that are coming in completely brand new, just a really quick synopsis of exactly what you envisage for Wasder in the next couple of years.
Yeah, so if I go the pitch deck style, which I guess you guys have the pitch deck, so I'm guessing you're going to send that out.
Yeah, we'll disseminate that as well. But just a quick 5 minutes, I might chop it. I might do it as a separate video.
No, it's perfectly fine. I mean, so the way I always say it, and if I go by the pitch deck version, is that we say that Wasder leads the way into the world of Web3 gaming experiences by giving players the home, the guide, and the solutions they need. So if I'm going to break that down in a little bit less brandy version and actual layman terms, what that means is that we give users a place that feels like home to them, and where they can experience and explore new games, metaverses, find people to play them with, find content, share stories with each other, chat with each other. Basically, all of the needs that you have as a player in a massively growing industry that's hard to navigate, we give you those needs. And then we, at the same time, gamify that in a way where you can collect a bunch of different items. On the flip side, what we do is we build this in a way where all of the stuff that is useful for you is also useful for the people who build the games, so that we can facilitate that engagement between you and the people making games for you, so that you have a better way of engaging with them. And because we build for both, you basically end up with an ecosystem where everybody feels like you've connected the needs of the players and the needs of the studios and the developers, and everything is about games. And then we do that basically using a blockchain and NFT ecosystem. So we create the full funnel from discovery to becoming devoted fans with your friends about your favorite games and communities. If I want to break it down into what we are as a business, we're basically three things. And I think it's important to recognize those three things, which is on one side, we have Wasder as a platform. So the application, the service, all the solutions that we do that you use the app for. Then you have our digital products, which is the NFTs that you as a consumer get in the product and you use. But there are digital products because they're not again, the moment it's an NFT and you have it in a wallet, it's not part of the platform itself. It's used there, but you still control it and own it. And then the third part of this trinity is the lifestyle brand, right? Because even if you do get competition, you still want to be the brand that everybody affiliates with and it's part of, and where you turn everyone into evangelists. And what happens as a consequence is that you have this amazing platform and a service that makes your life better and that causes positive change for people. You have the products that you get, that you walk away with, that is now yours. So you, every time, to everyone who contributes, you actually get something real out of it. And then the brand that is associated with that entire package, that is the combining success factor, combining the success factor of what it is that we do. So that's the simplicity, the simple description.
Yeah, man. I mean, that is that really is quite something. So it's going to be a place for gamers to come together, to play, to find friends, essentially, find people to play with, play games, play tournaments, collect NFTs, use those NFTs in game, blah 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 blah, this, that, and the other. 10,000 things later, and here we are. Is that about right?
Sound about right.
That's my TLDR. All right, man. Well, I think we'll wrap it up there, because, like I say, I'm sure people have got plenty of burning questions, and I want to save a little bit of meat on the bone ready for our AMA. But I would like to do a big old thanks to Thomas, CEO of the year, etc., etc., etc.
Well, and one thing, since you have the pitch deck, one of those partnerships is still confidential.
I know exactly what one you're talking about, and I am willing to sell it to the highest bidder. So hit me up, DMs. I'll take payment in AVAX, all sorts. Cool, man. Well, we look forward to catching up with you in a couple of days for a community AMA. And wow, people that know me, I know you don't know me all too well. People that know me, I would normally have been talking all the way through. I'm left a little bit speechless. I'm going to have to go stand outside for 5 minutes of fresh air in a sec. It's been an absolute...
By the way, did you see the statistics earlier today? I actually just saw it on Twitter a little bit ago, according to coin.fy, who has actually paid attention. The number one gaming token in the last 24 hours, performance-wise.
Oh, let me guess.
Yeah?
Let me guess. Was it Wasder, was it?
Yeah, I mean, number 3 is Mines of Galarnia, and number 5 is Alien Worlds.
It's getting a bit boring talking about Wasder doing so well, to be quite honest with you. It really is. Yeah, well, that's just another accolade to add to the belt. So, again, speechless. Thank you for your time, Tom, man. We'll catch up with you real soon. Thank you, my man. Thank you. Cheers, bud.
Ciao.